Hello everyone, welcome to the second video on this channel. In this video we are going to be looking at all the Java terminologies you need to know in order to properly use Visual Bukkit 6.
But Reaper, you said Visual Bukkit is better than Java coding, so why do you want us to know something related to Java?
Well, you see, the new update of VB is based more on Java and less on the Bukkit API itself. To properly use and understand what's happening behind the scene, it's really important to know some of the Java terms so that you can relate to what I would be trying to say later on. Plus, I'm not just asking anyone to write some code. These are just some analogies you need to remember and relate.
Oh, that's pretty cool. I understand what you want to say. You may as well carry on now.
Alright, so first up we have a package. So package in Java is like a box that contains related items grouped together for something you want to do. So for example, imagine a chest in Minecraft. So if it's labeled like mining chest or something with a sign, then you'll understand all the items in it would be related to mining. It could have a pickaxe, some blocks, some torches, and even maybe furnaces to smelt the ore. It will not have any sword or something. Alright, so that's pretty much for the package. Moving on, we have class. So a Java class is like a blueprint for a car. So a class is like a blueprint that defines the properties and behavior of objects. It's like a blueprint for a car that specifies how the car should be built and what it can do. Alright, makes sense? Then we have an interface. So interface in Java is like a remote control. So it specifies the buttons, which are usually methods a class should have and what each button does. It outlines a set of methods without specifying the implementation. So imagine it as a player interface. So we'll be learning about Bukkit API later on. So it's one of its part is like the player interface. So it tells what happens when there's an input of rock with the player. So for example, if the player rocks, a player move event may be fired, and if a player is eating something, then a player item consume event may be fired. Alright, makes sense. Then moving on, this is pretty much like the object-oriented programming part of Java. So the first basic thing in it is an object. So think of an object as a specific instance created from a class. In the analogy, it's like a specific car built from the blueprint with unique values for its properties. So consider a car from a company and a specific model of it. So that model would be known as an object. Moving on, we have a field. So fields are variables inside a class that represents its characteristics. And the analogy is like a characteristic of a car, such as a color, speed, and model and stuff. Alright, so that's pretty much it for those two things, and then combined these two things would make a variable. So a variable is like a data container or a placeholder or something like that, which would store an object and fields and stuff. Alright, so moving back to interfaces, we have a sub interface and super interface. So don't be overwhelmed by hearing these words, these are just some simple things. So a sub interface is like a specialized version of an interface. If a remote control controls a TV, sub-interface could be a remote control specifically designed for smart TVs. Alright, makes sense. Then we have super interfaces. So a super interface encompasses all functionalities. In an analogy, it's like the ultimate guidebook that covers all the possible features for plugins. Then let's just move on with abstract methods. You won't have much use of it, but it's just good to know. what these are. So an abstract method is like a template for an assignment, providing a description with some parts left blank for a specific implementation. So like if you have your own custom entity in your plugin, then you can just define how it should walk. Or if you are an animator and you have made something which would move, then you can just keep it blank, like a placeholder for the future animators to like implement their own logic of physics and stuff if they want, or even the way of motion of that object. Alright, makes sense. Moving on, we have instance methods. So it's like an instance method is a completed version of an abstract method, providing a specific implementation for the details left blank in the template. So like for example, if you're an animator and you have created something similar to a dinosaur, then another animator can specify the movements of the dinosaur. Alright, then moving on, we have a consumer class, or whatever you want to call it. So a consumer is like a person using a product, such as a smartphone user interacting with the device. Alright, makes sense. Then we have something similar to that, not exactly the same, but opposite of it. We have producer thing. So a producer is like the company manufacturing the product, responsible for designing, manufacturing, and providing the consumer a product. So here it would be the company manufacturing the phone, like I gave the example in the previous case. Next up, we have errors and exceptions. So many times if you're just gonna be looking up in the console or maybe even some documentation site, you would have seen this thing, like it says throws XYZ exception. So errors and exceptions represent issues that can occur during program execution. They are used to handle unexpected situations and ensure graceful handling of problems in the code. These terms are going to cover various parts of Java concepts. I'm sorry if I have missed any of those, but these are pretty much the terms you need to know and relate to, as I will be mentioning them in the later videos as they come out. So if there's anything else you should know, I would link it in the comment box, and again, if there's any mistake in the video, it will be in the pinned comment. Alright, that's pretty much it for today's video. Thanks for watching. I would see you in the next video. Goodbye.